Did you know that the US national anthem was first recited in Baltimore? I'm going to touch on that in a second, and in this video, I'm going to go over 5 key places that you need to visit while you're in Baltimore. Hey guys, this is Kevin here, or the American Travel Geek, and on this channel, I provide tips, attraction advice, and recommendations that's easy to follow on various US destinations. So if that's something that interests you, I'd like to invite you to hit the subscribe button below and click the bell beside it to be notified whenever I release a new video. So we're going to start off this list in the best way possible, and that is with some food. So Maryland is actually known for crab, and when I first looked up what to eat in Baltimore, what's the best item to eat, I found the Faidley Seafood at Lexington Market. And Lexington Market, it's a historic hall that has a lot of different vendors in it, so you can really get whatever kind of food your heart desires. But I specifically went there for Faidley Seafood, which has been around since 1886, I believe, in that Lexington Market location. And they've been producing a lot of fresh seafood over the years. And what Faidley Seafood is known for is their jumbo lump crab cake. And this is something that I had to get, and unfortunately, one of my 2 friends is not really a seafood guy, so he didn't eat it, and neither, I guess he had more power, and he ended up convincing my friend not to eat it as well. But I had the privilege of actually trying it, and it was absolutely delicious. The only downside here is it is a little on the pricey side, but for a one-time experience, I think it's absolutely worth it to try it. Number 2 on this list is Oriole Park, which is the home of the Baltimore Orioles baseball team. And if you don't already know, what inspired me to actually create this channel was my journey to visit all 30 Major League Baseball ballparks, which actually takes me down to the United States every year with my 2 good friends. So I am a very big baseball fan, but even if you're not a baseball fan, I do think Oriole Park is a great place to visit. Out of the 16 parks I have been to, this is definitely in the top 5 for me in terms of the aesthetics. You know, when it was built, it was designed to be like a classic baseball stadium, but it had kind of the modern touches, and it was almost like a refurbished version of a classic type stadium. So one of the standout features of this ballpark is that in right field is actually the old B&O railroad warehouse. So what happened was this was originally a warehouse that was designed to hold freight from trains. So that was the initial intended purpose of it, and then eventually it ended up going unused for a while, and they decided to incorporate it into the construction of Oriole Park. So it's actually a portion of the ballpark now, and it's used for team offices. There's actually a store at the bottom for team merchandise, so things like that. Another cool feature about this ballpark is there's actually a former Orioles Hall of Famer and 1970 AL MVP and 2-time World Series winner with the Orioles, Boog Powell, and he has his own little food stand called Boog's Barbecue on the premises of the ballpark. So if you want to get an autograph, if you want to meet a former Major League player who is actually quite good, head to Boog's Barbecue, and you can actually go meet him and get some of his barbecue, which he was long known for his different cookouts he had while he was a member of the Baltimore Orioles. So there's that. And just really quickly to touch on the tour. The tour at the ballpark is also very, very good. They take you inside the media facility, so the press box room. They take you onto the suite level, and you actually get to go inside the dugouts and onto the field. So that's a huge plus. And an added bonus, which I took advantage of, is staying at the Hilton, which is brand new right across the street. It was built a few years back. And you can actually get a room that looks onto the ballpark, which I did. You get a decent view, so at least if you want to, I guess for the really hardcore baseball fans, if you want to be able to look out your hotel window and see a ballpark, then that can be a cool thing as well. For number 3 on this list, we're going to talk about the Inner Harbor area, which is probably the most searched part of Baltimore, or the part that tourists seem to care the most about, I suppose. So one area near the Inner Harbor, in the Inner Harbor area, is Federal Hill Park, and this is a hill that you can climb up to. It's fairly easy to get to, and it provides really good views of the skyline. So once you get up to the top, you get a lookout over the Inner Harbor area, and you get to see the skyline all lit up. So this can be a good place to go at night. That's when we went, and we got a pretty good view of the city. So also on the grounds of Federal Hill Park, you'll also find what's called the Memorial to Armistead statue. And that basically honors the commander of Fort McHenry during the Battle of Baltimore, which was a battle that the Americans actually won in the War of 1812. You'll also find the USS Constellation on display here, which was a military ship that was actually used and played a pretty big role in actually stopping slave ships off the African coast, and a lot of those ships were trying to bring in slaves and import slaves into America. So, and one final thing here, going back to the Battle of Baltimore that happened at Fort McHenry, you can actually also visit what's called the Star-Spangled Banner Flag House, which is not too far from the Inner Harbor. And this was a house owned by Mary Pickersgill, and she actually owned a flag-making business, and she was responsible for sewing the garrison flag that was flown at Fort McHenry and kind of marked the U.S. territory. And Commander George Armistead wanted this flag to be really big so that the British forces in the War of 1812 would actually see the territory without any issues. So this flag actually was what inspired the national anthem first being sung, the U.S. national anthem, by Francis Scott Key when he saw the flag while the Battle of Baltimore was going on. So number 4 on this list is going to be Fells Point, which is located on the southeast part of Baltimore, not too far from the Inner Harbor. And this is a very historic neighborhood that's actually really, really nice. It has a lot of bars and restaurants. And unfortunately, I didn't really get to spend time here. I wasn't in Baltimore that long, and I only got to see it as part of a bus tour. But it looks really, really nice. Like, it has cobblestone streets, and I believe the bricks that were used for the cobblestone streets were actually shipped out of Belgium here to Baltimore. And the area, as I said, is very historic, and they have ghost tours that you can go on. They have other historic walking tours. And you can visit other cool areas like the Broadway Market, which is another kind of market area that sells a lot of fresh seafood. So definitely go explore it for yourself. For number 5 on this list, I'm going to cover a couple remaining items that just didn't fit into the other areas that I described. And first of all, which I already mentioned a lot, is Fort McHenry. Which of course, as I mentioned, but just to clarify, this is where the Battle of Baltimore was fought, which was actually... So it was a battle in War of 1812 that ended up being won by American forces against the British, and you can actually go visit the fort and explore its history. I didn't get to actually go on the grounds and experience it, but it is one of the top attractions in Baltimore. The second area is at the Edgar Allan Poe gravesite, and Edgar Allan Poe, of course, was a famous poet, short story writer. He was focused in the genres of horror and mystery, and he was known for stories like The Telltale Heart. So that is going to round out this list. Personally, out of those 5 suggestions, my favorite is going to be Oriole Park, because I'm a huge baseball fan. But please share in the comments down below, which of these 5 attractions is your favorite, and which are you most excited to visit? So please comment down below and let me know. And if you enjoyed this list, please leave a thumbs up. To let me know you enjoyed it. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you want more information on US travel destinations. And I also have a blog where I write articles that go along with these videos. So you can head over to AmericanTravelGeek.com. The link to the blog article for this video will be in the description below. So until next time, guys, I hope you enjoy the trip you're currently planning, and happy travels.